Mike Fisher at the Star in Frisco. First of all, you may have noticed in our coverage of OTAs, I got my days screwed up. The open OTA day of this week is on Thursday, not today. I'm here anyway. And so we might as well get some work done. And we might as well address the issue of Dalton Schultz. We've talked about how Jake Ferguson, the 4th round pick out of Wisconsin, is going to hit the accelerator here pretty soon, or be allowed to, and be the number 2 tight end. And then there'll be some philosophical questions. Do we want to be more of a 2 tight end offense? Do we want to be more fundamental in terms of the personnel we use in the running game? And do we have 2 tight ends who can block? Dalton Schultz prides himself on that. And Jake Ferguson will joke around and say, listen, I played at Wisconsin. We ran on 1st down, we ran on 2nd down, we ran on 3rd down. So I can absolutely do that, and the Cowboys agree. That leaves one other tight end issue for the Cowboys now that they've solved the bodies issue and that they work through the personnel group issue. What about Dalton Schultz's contract? As we know, he's on the franchise tag now. You have until July 15th to forge a new deal for the year, or the 2 parties are stuck on that. It's not necessarily a punishment of Dalton Schultz if he gets to make $10.8 million for 1 year guaranteed, but was the purpose of the franchise tag to be a placeholder while they negotiated a new long-term deal that would, by the way, most likely reduce his cap number for the year? Or was it just a wait and see, a move similar to what they did to Tank Lawrence a couple times? I shouldn't say did to, let's call it did with, what they did with Dak Prescott, where it's just wait and prove it and do it again, especially with Tank Lawrence, who basically had to do it 3 times before the Cowboys came around and gave him the big money deal. A big money deal that, by and large, I don't think they regret, but a big money deal that, had they done earlier, would have been more affordable later. And that's where we are with Dalton Schultz. The longer they wait, the more it's going to be, unless it's their intention to have this be a 1 year wait and see, prove it, and then if you have a good year, but Jake Ferguson has a good year as well, maybe the Cowboys don't go forward and pay a tight end $14 and $15 million a year, which suddenly, thanks to what Cleveland did with David Njoku, is the supposed going rate. You're not quite George Kittle. You're not quite Travis in Kansas City. What are you? Right now, you're an $11 million almost tight end that the Cowboys are not especially active when it comes to negotiations with. And I continue to be puzzled as to the lack of proactivity when it comes to Cowboys and contracts. They eventually get it done. They eventually get their guys, except for Randy Gregory. They eventually pinpoint the people they want, and they keep them. But they also eventually end up spending more money. And for a cap-conscious team like this one, maybe even a cap-obsessed team like this one, it's still odd that as we go through the 2nd week of OTAs, Dalton Schultz is working with a contract, but not necessarily with a future, because there's no discussions about that future. At the Star in Frisco with the Cowboys. Fish out.